Your what's goody team? What's goody team? Perfect. Gonna get everybody till 7:40 to join. Just another 5 minutes, and then we will get started. Any questions? Let me know. Come on, yo, you late? What the? All right, my bad. I'm back. Again, just gonna give about another 2 minutes to join, then we'll get started. Any questions in the chat, let me know. Any specific pairs you guys want us to go over, whether or not they're on our list, let me know. The pairs we're going to be going over are the ones you see on the right hand side with the red flag next to their name, starting off with AUDUSD, finishing off with silver. But again, any questions about any other pairs, let me know. Um, this is the market makers pattern. The what? My bad. Let's take a step back. This is the weekly market breakdown, where we're going to be going over the market makers pattern, going over the daily time frame, where we're at, what we're looking for, what we could be expecting. Do the same thing on the 4 hour, update our 4 hour highs, 4 hour lows, update our weekly continuations to get ready for this week, see if there's any continuations to trade, to then go to the 30-minute time frame, update our 30-minute highs, 30-minute lows, and see if there's any continuations to start the week. For the most part, I've scrolled through 3, 4 different pairs, and we started off the week with a crazy gap on a lot of pairs. So we'll talk about that. That'll be the easiest things to trade for the next couple days. Depends how long it takes to fill those gaps. But again, there was news over the weekend. We already know that's been the common theme for the last couple months, where they'll wait till Friday, after 5 p.m. to announce some crazy shit. This morning, same thing happened. They announced something, and the only thing you could really see move is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin just shot down like crazy. So I actually want to go look at US30, S&P, and everything. I want to see that gap that it opened with. Crazy gap. Right, we filled these gaps that were at the bottom already. So again, the market is always going to tell you what it needs to tell you. Always. That's why market structure is very important. Candlestick analysis, very important. That's a little bit more technical. We'll get more into details on that on the isolation sessions and with the students who are already in that part of the lesson. So we good in the chat, no questions. All right. Let's start off with AU. Daily time frame, we know we are still in an overall downtrend. We are in level 3. Price gave us the break of structure. 1 second. It gave us the break of structure of the zone of the second zone of consolidation that gave us the lower low point. Price came up, gave us equal highs. Same thing has been doing. At these highs, what we're looking for now on the lower time frames, we're looking for the trend to shift from price making higher highs and higher lows to lower lows and lower highs. So we know that price gave us that 4-hour lower low, change of character. So where are we? Price is at a lower high point. Perfect. So what am I looking for in this lower high point? Going now into the 30-minute. Take one more step back. We know we have 2 weeks of rise. Could we be expecting the market to give us another high point for this upcoming week? Give me 1 second. Take a sip of water. I'm a little parched. Oh my god, I almost died. I'm alive. We're good. Damn. Could we be expecting the market to give us a 3rd week push to the top side? Once again, we know gaps in the market reset the trend. So it's not something I'm expecting. Now, could it happen? Absolutely. Right? And what I'm looking for on the 30 is for price to do the same thing. Go from higher highs and higher lows to then start making lower lows and lower highs. Price gave us the lower low point, which again, at this point, because of how big this gap is, I really don't like saying that this is where the change of character happened. I would have felt a little bit more comfortable putting this as a change if, well, price could still do it, right? But if it gives us some sort of structure down here before coming up, this is what I would like to have for me to then really say and feel confident in marking this as a lower low point. But I'm gonna keep it like this for now, right? If I have to update it, then we'll do that. I almost really just died on some water. That's a fucked up way to go out. Right, so we're trading between this high point and this lower low point down here. So AU will get ready to trade this. That'll be a good one to keep an eye on for these next upcoming days. Daily time frame, Euro AUD at this point. Still have this marked up as peak high. Let me change this for now. Right, the reason I still have this as peak high on an uptrend is because we are still trading on a daily time frame, higher high, higher low point. With that being said, since we are in this higher low point, what's going to confirm that for me? It's going to be the lower time frames. Right, the lower time frames at this point is going to confirm whether or not we are still on an uptrend, right, where we could be expecting price to give us the higher low point, right, to then continue to look for these long positions. Why am I not confident in these long positions? Why right now, Euro AUD? This is a pair based on where we're at and how price is looking on the daily time frame. That's all I have to look for in order for me to say this is a pair that I will not be trading. I'm still looking at it on a day-to-day basis. I'm still updating it on a day-to-day basis because anything could happen, right? But it's not anything could happen because I prayed last night. No. In order for this to be a valid higher low point, what do I need to see on the lower time frames? I need to see a change of character and a break of structure to the top side. Why? Because currently, what is price doing? If you're looking, if price is going down, right? Market structure, what is it doing? And this is a question for you guys in the chat. For those watching the recording, if you want to pause, write it down before I give you the answer, and then check if you have the right answer, right? When price is going down in the market, is price making higher highs and higher lows, or is price making lower lows and lower highs? I'll give you guys 20 seconds in the chat who are here live to answer that question. 20 seconds, that's all I'm giving you. Right. Lower lows and lower highs. With that being said, in order for me now on the lower time frame, in order for us to start looking for those trades to go back up, I want to see price go and start making higher high and higher low, change of character, higher high, higher low, break of structure, and this is where I'm looking to get into that trade to continue those pushes to the top side. Right? Let me know if you have any questions about that. Wait for the internal shift before any buy should be taken exactly. On the 4-hour time frame, what's going on? On the 4-hour time frame is a little bit different. The 4-hour time frame, we had higher high, higher low, higher high, and then price gave us the lower low, change of character, where price just continued the push to the bottom side. So we know that on the 4-hour time frame, right, we're trading between this 4-hour high, and everything is color coordinated. The blue boxes are the 4-hour highs and 4-hour lows. The gray boxes are the daily highs and daily lows. The 30-minute highs and lows are red, right? So we know that we're trading between this low point, lower low point on the 4-hour time frame, and this high all the way up here. So cool. Now, the change of character lower low is not the indication. This could still be an inducement. That does not mean that market structure has shifted. After a change of character, you want to see a break of structure, right? So now, keep that in mind. Let's go back to the 30-minute time frame. On the 30-minute, what did we get? All right, we had a pretty big change of character to the top side. Price continued the trend internally. It gave us a nice break of structure. Push 1, push 2, right? Gave us a pullback. Then it gave us push number 3 and came back down and gave us a lower low change of character, right? At this point, we can mark up this as the change of character, right? This was the break, and this is the push back down. Now, yo, you got a 30-minute change and a 30-minute break. Yes, right? When we go back, why did I say keep this in mind? Because now on the 4-hour time frame, we know we have a lower low point, right? And we'll mark this in blue. Could this, right? Let's mark up the structure so we're not confused. We had higher high, higher low, higher high, right? Then price, what did it do? It consolidated. Never broke the lows, never broke the highs, was just in the middle, right? This is where price gave us the change of character. Boom, lower low. So now we know we're trading between this high, right, and these lows. So could this technically be a lower high point? Absolutely. Now that we had that lower high point, you go back to the 30. What did you get at the lower high point? You got the change of character. You got the break of structure, right? Then price came back down and gave you the inducement on either Thursday or Friday, let's see, right? Thursday going into Friday. And now the market opened with a gap. This is where a lot of people are stuck in trades. Now they're confused. They don't know what they're trading. This is why I'm not trading this. Because the daily time frame is telling me one thing, right? The daily time frame is telling me this is still on an uptrend. 4-hour time frame, didn't give us a clean indication, right, which would have been the break of structure, but it gave us a change of character lower low, right? So on the 4-hour, we're downtrending. On the 30-minute, we're currently downtrending, right? So because the analysis on each time frame has to line up. If it doesn't line up, I already know, okay, these trades are low probability, and this is why. Sorry, yo, I'm still choking from that water that I drank. Now, could you use other confirmations? Absolutely, right? On the daily time frame, we're below the 800 EMA, we went above it, right? Price respects the 800 EMA, price respected the 800 EMA. In order for this to be in level 2 on a downtrend, right, which is the other analysis, but again, I don't want to mark this as a downtrend just yet because we are still on a daily time frame higher high, higher low. However, if we were to mark this as level 1 on a downtrend, the first zone of consolidation, then level 2 on a downtrend, and then again, where's the second zone of consolidation? Second zone of consolidation is going to be either below or on the 800 EMA, and we're currently below it. However, again, how the market maker pattern should look, this wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't make sense, right? The second zone of consolidation on a downtrend is supposed to be below the second zone of consolidation from the uptrend. This is too close, right? So that's another confirmation that's letting me know this is most likely not where the downtrends are going to continue, right? So again, at this point in the market with EA, this is one pair that's giving me too much information. Nothing is lining up, right? And what I was going to say about level 2 on a downtrend, the 50 crossing below the 200, right? So again, there's a lot of confirmation here on the daily time frame, but then there's also a lot of confirmation on the lower time frame that contradicts what I'm seeing. So I already know that these trades on EA are low probability. Does that mean you can't trade it? No, you could trade it, absolutely, but understand that each trade you take here is a 50-50 gamble, right? It doesn't matter what your strategy is, whether it's double bottoms, double tops, order blocks, fair value gaps, supply and demand, whatever it is that your strategy is. It's all what I'm saying right now ties down to all of the strategies. Just based on structure, because that's all we've talked about. I haven't talked about my entry models. I haven't talked about none of that. All I've talked about was clean, just market structure. Higher highs and higher lows in the trend. That's all I've talked about. Excuse me, guys. I'm having a little cough attack, right? So once again, based on market structure alone, which is universal in trading, right? This isn't a different entry model. This is simply just higher highs and higher lows and where the market is trending. I already know that my entry models, the different entries that I have, it doesn't matter what strategy I use to enter a trade. This is not a high probability area to take that trade. So this is where I take a step back. This is very simple for me. And again, a lot of traders online are going to tell you, yo, don't trade multiple pairs. I agree. If you're a beginner, look at one pair, two pairs. Get comfortable with the chart. But what I'm about to say now is for those traders who are consistently profitable, who are already on their charts, who are already comfortable, right? They're consistent. You should not be looking at one pair because as you guys can see, we did AU and we did EA. I didn't give no different information. The way that I trade AU is the same way I trade EA, is the same way I trade ECAD, is the same way I trade GJ, is the same way I trade 30, gold, Bitcoin, is the same way. You have to treat them a little bit differently, yes, because some pairs are bigger than others. Some pairs move quicker than others, right? So you're going to have to slightly adjust to that. But then again, when you're talking about bigger pairs like gold, US30, Bitcoin, again, those are also pairs you shouldn't be trading as a beginner. So again, what I'm saying right now is not for somebody who started trading 2 days ago, 3 days ago, a week ago. This is for traders who have been trading for years. They're profitable, they're comfortable, they know what they're looking at. You should not be looking at just one pair. You shouldn't be. Because if all you trade is EA, and you're stuck in this bullshit that we're in right now, this is why you have a 40% win rate, 50% win rate, 60% win rate. Yeah, you can still be profitable. Absolutely. There's no doubt about that. But the question in trading is, how can you minimize your losses? How can you take that 60% win rate to 75? Right? Let's just bump it up by 10. We don't gotta bump it up by 40. We don't have to go, oh, you're gonna win. Nah, we don't have to. 75%, 77%, 80%. You could do it. And I'm 100% sure the reason you can't is because you don't have all the information. You're not putting all the pieces together. You have it. You're missing something. So, with that being said, let's go on to the next pair, ECAD. I'm gonna keep the drawings there. So again, you guys I'm gonna keep it there so you guys can see. Do this all the time. Should I go one by one with each pair like that? Because if I do that, this fucking stream is gonna be 10 hours long. Because a higher time frame is contradicting the bias. Exactly. So right now, just taking a step back. No need. Again, you come back to the chart, you update it. Price is gonna move. You wait for price to move. You wait for price to give you those confirmations. Once price gives you those confirmations, then you start thinking about your entry model. Then you start looking for your entries. It's not the other way around. You can't be looking for entries before price gives you you can't enter a trade before price gives you the confirmations. You can't. It just you can absolutely, but again, that's the reason why you're in drawdown. That's the reason why you have such a shitty win rate. Like, you could definitely enter before trades gives you a confirmation because you feel like the market is gonna give you that, right? It's a feeling you get. The adrenaline is pumping. Like, yo, guys, I'm the market maker. I could read the charts. It doesn't work that way. I promise you, yo. Hey, listen. If you have that superpower, please contact me, please. But I promise you, there's nothing about feeling in the market. This is either you know information or you don't know. And there's no in between. Indeed was not the market maker. Straight to stop loss. Facts. And I guess it's crazy to me, bro. Like, you guys are trading Propfirm accounts. Those are demo accounts. I promise you, the market makers are not tapped into your account, bro. I swear. I could, I put it on my life. Find me the market makers that's looking at demo accounts, please, please. Give me his phone number, please. I need to talk to him. Yo, he's taking your commission for your demo account, yo. I need to talk to the boss. So anyway, man, I'm done clowning people. It's not what I'm here for. Add a few lines here. Damn, bro. I need water, man. EURCAD, same as a little bit different than EA, not same as EA, but ECAD, we're in PCAD territory, right? That's where we're at right now. We're at the highest point in the market. Again, waiting to see, is this where price is going to give us the confirmation that we started the downtrends, or is price just going to continue, right? We have the change of character lower low, which could just be the inducement to go back to the highs. Once again, we're in PCAD territory. This could just be a pullback to continue the uptrend. Give us a little bit higher highs. It's all good. But again, this is why you wait for the confirmation. And that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to wait for confirmations. Right now on the daily and the 4-hour time frame, making lower lows and lower highs. So once again, I'm not going to be looking for these long positions. Why? Because we are still trading between a lower low and a lower high point. Right? I can't be. Even though on the 30-minute on the lower time frame, it looks beautiful. Higher highs and higher lows the entire time. Perfect. Right? That's perfect. Cool. However, I'm not trading that pullback. Why? You guys have seen it. And it happened to you. It happens to you guys. How many times do you take a trade thinking on the 30-minute time frame that you're in a higher low point? You take a trade going higher low, going back into the higher high, and it reverses on you and it makes lower lows and lower highs and it continues the downtrend. How many of you guys had that happen to you? And now, why does that happen? Because you're taking trades on the 30-minute time frame, going long when market structure is still lower low and lower high. This is that 10% where it works out for you, right? This is the 30% that it works out for you. And you continue to take these long positions when price is making lower lows and lower highs. Cool, right? This time it worked out for you. But do this again next week. Do it again 2 months from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, right? How many of the times did you win? How many of the times did you lose? Right? And that's where we're at with this. So again, ECAD is another pair right now. And this happens where, to add on to the conversation, this type of behavior happens where in regards to the market maker's pattern. It's going to happen in peak high territory, peak low territory, or in a zone of consolidation. That's it. Again, a zone of consolidation is an area in the market where the market makers are trapping traders, right? You already know the definition. The market makers are doing what right now? Trapping traders, making some traders believe that this is lower low, lower high, right? To get them out of that trade to continue the uptrend, right? The market makers are trapping traders. And again, where does that happen? In peak high territory, peak low territory, and in zones of consolidation. So again, I already know my rules. Since I already know my rule is what? I do not trade peak high territory because this is where traders get trapped. Cool. And again, this is why I'm not married to one pair. Because if I was married to ECAD and is the only pair on my list, I wouldn't have a trade. Right? How many traders you think got trapped into this move last week on Wednesday? Thinking that, oh guys, this is a shoulder head shoulder. Right? How many traders you think last week got caught in this move to continue the uptrend pushes because they think that this is a 38.2, 23.6 to continue the uptrend? Right? And then what happened? Price is just dumping, consolidating, trapping traders. Right? The shoulder head shoulder, trapping the traders going short, going back long. Right? You think this shit's gonna go lower? Yeah, right. If you didn't take profit, straight to stop loss, back to break even, thinking that price was gonna continue the downtrend pushes. Right? So once again, it's once you understand what area in the market you're in, you start to understand all these fake out moves and why they happen, where they happen. Right? Same thing here. Shoulder head shoulder. You think this is gonna be a short position? Yeah, right. We're trapping you. It gave you a zone of consolidation in the middle, trapping you for days, and then taking you out. Boop, straight to stop loss. Because you got greedy. You thought price was gonna continue. So once again, it is very important to understand this. It's very important. There's just no way around it. The ones who want to understand it, cool, you have an upper hand. You understand why moves are happening in the market. Why, when, and where. So EURCAD, we're just gonna add our gap here to the market so we're aware that it's there. Go on to the next pair. I'm gonna start speeding up a little bit, guys, because again, the shit is really the same for every fucking pair, man. It's nothing different. Looking for the same thing, looking for the same behaviors. Only difference, some pairs are uptrending and some pairs are downtrending. EU, we're in the second zone of consolidation. On an uptrend, we were at the bottom. Safety trade, looking for those trades back to the top side. No continuations on the daily time frame. On the 4 hour, we have a week of rise. Perfect. Right, we had that inducement, change of character. After the inducement, we want to see the break, the change in the break on the 30-minute. On the 30-minute, we had the change, and we were looking for a valid break to happen. Price gave us higher high, higher low, came back, gave us the inducement, was not a valid break, came back up, came back down, came back up, right? We had inducement candle, Then we had the candle closure above, closed above the wick, not touching the break of structure line. Perfect. That's a clean break. Market opens. What do we have? We still have a gap at the top. We have a gap at the top of the market for today as well when the market opens for this week. Cool. What do we know about gaps? Gaps in the market have to be filled. Only thing we don't know as traders is when they will be filled, right? This could take a couple days, a couple weeks, the same thing as this gap. We don't know when they'll be filled, but we know they have to be filled. So now I'm looking for my confirmations, right? We know we have higher high, higher low, higher high. This could still be a higher low point. Perfect. For this to be considered a valid higher low point, what do I want to start seeing now on the lower time frames? And EU is a pretty small pair, so we could get away with going to the 1 minute. But let's see if we need to. Right, higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, change of character, lower high. Right, but we have a lower low. We can mark it up as the lower low break. I would like to see, yep, exactly what we were saying with the other pair. Right, I would like to see price give us another low here. Right, give us like a little wall. We could say that this is a valid break here. So you'd be looking for a pullback, and that pullback could be to fill the gap. Once price fills that gap, we'll have to wait and see what price wants to do. We have the change. We have a valid break. The only thing I don't like about, obviously, when price opens with a gap, it's a little bit more difficult. It's just not difficult. It's a little bit more technical, we will say. So what I want to see now on the 5-minute is price to give us that change of character, higher high, higher low, break of structure, higher high, higher low, to then continue those trades back to the top side. That's what I'll be looking for on EU. So EU's looking good. This is definitely one on my watch list. Let's see if there's any engulfing candles on the lower time frame. Nothing on the 15, nothing on the 5. On the 1 minute, nothing on the 1 minute. And then structure on the 1 minute and the 5-minute are the same. You could go back and forth from the 5 and the 1. Personally, for this, I like the 5 a little bit better based on where the EMAs are at. We're below the 800. In order for me to feel comfortable taking trades going long here, I want to see price bounce above the 800, break and start bouncing above. And then the reason that feels comfortable too, just based on the 1 minute. Right, what would we want to see on the 1 minute before with the EMAs? We want to see the 50 cross above the 200. That's gonna happen when we get the change of character. Depending on how high price gets and where the EMA is gonna be placed, right, between now and tomorrow morning. Let's say that we get the change of character, we get the pullback. We'll be looking for the break of structure on the 1 minute. You know, maybe the 800 will be close. Maybe it'll be close in an area where we'll also get the break above the 800 on the 1 minute time frame, get the pullback, and that's where I'll be looking to take the trade to continue those pushes to the top side. Right, so 5-minute and 1 minute look pretty much the same. They're pretty much equal right now. Looking for the same thing to happen on both time frames. And in relation with the 50 and the 200 on the 5-minute, same thing. Once we start that uptrend, we'll see the cross of the 50 going back above the 200 once we get that break of structure. So we'll be patient. We already know where we're at. EU is definitely that one pair on my watch list for not only tomorrow but for the week. GA, very similar to that other pair, right? We were trading higher high, higher low on an uptrend, push 1, push 2, push 3, peak high, perfect. We have push 1, first zone of consolidation. Could we say that this is push number 2? Looks a little bit better than the other pair, right? Looks a little bit better than the other pair. I already like that we're getting close to being below the second zone of consolidation in order for us to start saying that this could be that second zone of consolidation. The only thing that's missing here on the daily time frame is for us to get a valid break of structure after the change of character. We had higher high, higher low, higher high all the way to the top side. Price gave us that change of character, lower low, down here. So we know that we're trading between these highs and these lows. So once again, not in a rush. I'll wait for a little bit more confirmation before I take these trades. On the 4-hour time frame, we have the 4-hour change. We have the 4-hour break of structure. This could just be a pullback, lower high point to continue back down into the lower lows. Right, so the 4-hour also looks pretty decent. We had a weaker drop. Then this week, price gave us that no net because of where price opened with that gap. Right, it's touching the opening candle of last week. The wick is from this wick to this wick. We have that no net, so no continuations on the 4-hour. So we can't even go for that third week low. And then on the 30-minute, same thing. We have the change of character, break of structure, lower low, lower high, 800 EMA. Price never broke above the 800. This could be a good trade. This could be a good trade. This is another pair I want to keep an eye on. Price gave us a day of rise. Let me go back to the higher time frames real quick. Any engulfing candles? Nothing on the 1, nothing on the 30, nothing on the 15, nothing on the 5, nothing on the 1. When we're looking at market structure, we're going to be trading between these higher low points and this higher high. So on the 1 minute, 5 minute time frame, um, we don't really have nothing clean on these time frames. So that's okay. Give me a second, guys. Hold on. Computer died? Yeah, see, you're not locked, man. My bad, my phone's on Do Not Disturb too. Did somebody text me? No, I don't got no friends. Nobody call me either. All good. Welcome. Um, so GA will be patient. We'll wait it out. The GA looks like a good one to keep an eye on. GCAD, we are in the middle of the zone of consolidation still on an uptrend. We are looking for level 3 to continue those pushes to the top side. We have another week of rise, fourth week variation to the top side after third week rise no net. .30-minute time frame, still making higher highs and higher lows, and price gave us no net for Friday. GCAD is another pair. Not trading it right now. We'll wait for the breakout of the zone of consolidation. GJ is another pair. Not really trading it right now. We're in peak high territory. Price is still on an uptrend, but again, where we're at with the daily highs and the 4-hour highs, we're back at the top. I'll either wait for price to give us the inducement to go back down, or I'll wait for price to give me the valid break, higher high, higher low. Once we get the retest, that's when I'll start looking to get into a trade again. GJ will be patient. Just gonna keep my chart updated as I said earlier. Even though I'm not trading some pairs, you see how I keep them updated. Same information. Doesn't matter. Right? This gave us higher high, higher low, and just continued all the way to the top side higher. This is all part of the same trend. I'm not gonna mark this as higher high, higher low, higher high. Nope. All of this is part of the same trend. GU, very similar to EU. So let's take a look. This could be another pair. Right, we're back at the bottom of the zone of consolidation in level 2, or I'm sorry, in level 3. We're in the second zone of consolidation where price gave us higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Right, the only thing I don't like about GU, it did not give us a valid break. Right, after this higher high, higher low, and price gave us this higher high, it didn't give us that valid break. Right, so when I'm trading this, I'm not looking to trade this. Right, let's say you're in a buy position. A lot of traders will have their TP set at these highs. Once price gets to these highs, this is where I'm looking to get out of that trade. Regardless, if I'm in a trade with GU going long, right now, I'm not confident in it. Why? Because this isn't a valid higher high point, we can't say that this is a valid higher low point. With that being said, if this isn't a valid higher high and this isn't a valid higher low, then we cannot be expecting price to give us another higher high point, right? We could be expecting price to do what? price could still go back down a little bit more. Remember, right now, since this is not a valid higher low point, right? This point here, since this, if we mark it up like this, right? And I'm gonna mark it up red so we're not confused since they're not valid, right? The ones that are valid are green, right? Which you can see with the highlight. Let me change the color of the highlight real quick, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, right? So because this is not a valid higher low point, when we zoom it back in on the daily time frame, right? Since this is not a valid higher low point down here, we could still be expecting price to trend a little bit lower because again, we're trading between this low and this high. You see what I'm saying? Now, what's going to be our confirmations? Yes, we do have a little bit of confirmation here with these lows and these highs. This is a zone of consolidation. So we know that price is going to continue to go lower if price gives us a valid break of the zone of consolidation, which we do not have yet. All we have is an inducement, reject the low, reject the high, reject the low, reject the high, reject the low, reject the high, reject the lows, to do what? To go back to the top side. You get what I'm saying? Now again, will we have confirmations on the lower time frame to tell us where price is wanting to move? Yes, this is where you'll start looking for the change of character, the break of structure. Right, 4-hour time frame, all we have is a change of character to the top side. Again, that is not a confirmation that the trend has shifted. The confirmation is the break of structure after the change of character. Right? So right now, we have a weaker rise. Again, no continuations just yet. And then on the 30-minute, what do we have? On the 30-minute, all we have is a change of character. Higher high, higher low. Price came up to the 30-minute highs, and what did it do? It gave us the inducement. Again, so even on the 30-minute time frame, we do not have the confirmation. We don't. So right now for GU, this is the trade. This is the pair. One pair that I'm still taking a little step back from until I get those confirmations. Once I get those confirmations, then I'll start trading. It's that simple for me. I don't want to get copyright striked. I don't know if you guys can hear the background music or not. They're having a fucking party over here. Well, if I get copyright striked, it is what it is. I'm just trying to see if I can hear it, but my bad, team. I'm seeing if I could hear the music. I think we're good. I think we're good. All right, so US30 daily time frame, pretty much US30. I don't look at CAD or ZAR. I don't know why that's on. US30 gold, Bitcoin, oil, and silver. These are pairs that we're pretty much done with the session. You know, I'm not gonna talk about these pairs on stream. Reason being, again, a lot of the people who watch us are beginner traders, and I don't want to get you guys in the habit of looking at these bigger pairs. Because again, if you can't see higher highs and higher lows on a pair like AUDUSD or EURUSD or GBPUSD, you have no business in trying to look for higher highs and higher lows on a pair like US30, gold, Bitcoin, oil, silver, right? Even GJ. Why? Very simple. There's a reasoning to it. Why do I say that? US30, indexes, commodities, energies, crypto, they move a lot faster and they move a lot more than the regular Forex currency pairs. That's what the ADR is. US30 moves 787 pips on a day to day basis. Gold moves 173 pips on a day to day basis. Go look at a pair like AU. We move 68 pips. You look at a pair like EU, 76 pips, right? So again, if you cannot look for market structure on a pair that moves 70 pips, you're not going to be able to do it on a pair that moves 170. It's just not possible. You're not going to be able to do it. You're not. It's a lot harder. So again, these are pairs that I stopped. What am I doing here? What do I feel like I missed something? Sunday 7th. Why does this look so much bigger though? Maybe I'm tripping. Bitcoin give a beautiful 372. I was seeing that on Saturday. I don't wanna take a trade on Saturday. I pussied out of it, but I should have taken it. It was beautiful. Happened right after the market open. I was looking at that shit. I'm like, yo, I got you on my scope. And I was like, you know what? And again, how do you know that this is gonna be a fake higher high, higher low, and price wasn't gonna continue the uptrend? Because price gave you an inducement, never gave you a valid break of structure, it never gave you a valid higher high point. So again, very important to understand. Very important. It gave you that 372 and blop. If you held that trade thinking you were gonna be a millionaire, fucking think again, idiots. It's crazy. Like that's what the market makers really be talking. Um, with that being said, all of this is part of the same trend, and I'm gonna mark this as the higher high point, and the higher low point was down here. That's how the market makers be talking. So it's like, you fucking idiots. You think you're gonna continue this trade? Yeah, right. And then they're reading our accounts, man. They're hitting our stop losses. Stuck in that zone of consolidation on a higher time frame as well. Daily, we have just a change. We already know what we're looking for in order for us to say that we're definitely on a downtrend for BTC. We want to see a valid break before we say that we started the downtrend, right? But again, other confirmations come at play. You have a little shoulder head shoulder. You have a valid break of that shoulder head shoulder on the daily time frame. Shoulders head shoulders pop up on in peak high territory. 4 hour time frame. We have the change. We have the break. This could be a simple lower low, lower high to continue down into the lower lows. So again, we do have confirmation. There's confirmation everywhere. We gotta be patient. What am I gonna be waiting for? The change of character, the break of structure on the lower time frame. Right now, we're still making higher high, higher low. So I'm chilling. No rush. No rush. Again, that's gonna be the biggest difference you guys will notice between me and a lot of other traders. There's no rush in this shit. And then silver, same as gold pretty much. You have a change. You have a week of no net. 30-minute time frame. Huge zone. We had lower low, lower high, boom, lower low. Trading between these lows and those highs. And then price is giving us those internal higher high, higher high, higher highs. So again, this is another pair. Well, we'll look at in the morning, man. We trade these pairs. Well, not anymore. As ADR was already hit. So actually, let's do that as well. Market opened and just dumped it. ADR is already hit, and it doesn't have a gap. Oil, same thing. Already hit ADR, so we know we're not going to be looking at this tomorrow morning. Price just skyrocketed. Bitcoin market opened 25 minutes ago. We're good. Gold. We have the gap, but I don't think ADR has been hit for this one. Nor, yeah, or STP. So we're still good to look at gold. US30, same thing. Damn, I hate how slow this is right now. Same thing with US30. Same thing with GU. Same thing with GJ. Same thing with GCAD. GASTP's already been hit, but we'll look at it tomorrow morning. EURUSD, same thing. That's gonna be the one to keep an eye on. Yo, I haven't traded NZD USD in a long time, brother. Like months. I just where we're at. We're still in A2 at the bottom of the zone of consolidation. I'm just not. It's pretty much like in a similar situation that oil's in. Only difference that oil finally moved, but it's in the same situation that oil was in for a long time. Like we're just sitting at the bottom of the zone of consolidation in a downtrend. It just doesn't. I don't really like where we're at with this. Right? And if we just zoom it in here, we could just say that this is just a little zone of consolidation as well here on the lower time frame. I just don't like it. I don't like where we're at. And for me to have liked NZD, I would like a little bit more of a pullback, right? Or again, taking the trades up here at these highs, but there's just no. There's really nothing here for me on NZD USD. I just don't like it. Again, we're just based on the daily time frame. I just don't like trading in this this bullshit here. Like it's just not where I like to trade. Right? Again, maybe another thing I could go into, like maybe if price would have given us a valid break below these lows here, right? Then yeah. But then again, we could also just say that this is a developing shoulder head shoulder, right? So like for me to really start looking at trades on NZD USD, pretty much what I already have drawn here, what I've been drawn here. I don't even notice I had this shit drawn. That's how you know I'm so used to having so much shit on my chart where I'm just moving through this, but you can see I have this drawn here. Right. So regardless what I'm looking for before I even start, and this is again, I don't know when the last time it was that I traded NZD USD. So I don't know when it was that I added this highlighter tool down here. It has to have been a while ago. So you could already see I have this shit ready. Like, once we break these lows, yeah, absolutely. I'll look to continue to take these trades down here. Right? We have clean traffic all the way back down to the bottom after these break. But for right now, no need to look at NU. It's just another pair that we just gotta wait for confirmations, and we already have fucking 16 of those. But any questions, guys, let me know. For the ones watching the recording, any questions, feel free to message me. Any questions in the stream, let me know. I'll give you guys a minute. And we'll be back tomorrow for the isolation session. Again, reminder as well, I'll be in Miami again on the 14th, so on Tuesday. I'll still be trading in the morning, but we won't have an isolation session on the 14th. On the 15th is my grandma's birthday, so I most likely will not have an isolation session either. But I am taking my computer so I could trade. And then I'll be back on the 16th. So on the 16th, we'll be back with the isolation sessions at 7 p.m. But for tomorrow, for Tuesday and Wednesday for sure, I will not have an isolation session. But most likely, because I won't do the isolation session, we'll have the trading session in the morning. Because again, I am taking my computer, so I'll be trading. But alright, guys, have a good rest of your night. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.